Well, hey, good morning, everybody. This is Justice's Waiting Room, a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. First things first, recently we talked about how ICE has over 60,000 people captive, imprisoned, or whatever you want to call it, and just posted an article to our Discord that they're starting to release the American citizens. So I want to start with a really good piece of news to start off, no matter what else. Okay. Um, Kind of regardless of what else is going on in the world. I think one of the more horrific things is that you at least I have been experiencing is the thought of just being wrongly apprehended and incarcerated, right? Like I'm a white cis male. What the fuck what am I scared of? But the thing that's different about this regime is their willingness to use law enforcement to protect their feelings. Um, I want to make sure that we point out, hey, the first person to get picked up was that woman. Forgive me, at Tufts College, that was very outspoken against this regime. She was one of the first ones picked up. And then Mahmoud Khalil, he was one of the early ones that ICE picked up. He's another one that's like really outspoken uh, against Donald Trump. So I just want to make sure that hey, I just want to point this out, how snowflake ass this regime is. Uh, Arresting people, using law enforcement to arrest people that they disagree with. Morning, Empress. Oh, and who's propping up this huge pro-Israel theme in the government? The Heritage Foundation. hmm So if you were ever wondering where the fuck, where the fuck did the U.S. government all of a sudden become pro-Israel? The Heritage Foundation. Here's an article where the Heritage Foundation thinks your thoughts on Israel should serve as a litmus test. Morning, everybody. Stacy, Zeke, Kara, Dubs. Yeah, yeah. And as I've said before, it's uh it's not about left to right. It's about rich versus poor. The actual CEO of Palantir is a Democratic donor, a heavy Democratic donor, to the tune of over $500,000 he gave to Democratic candidates. So I just want to point out, like, the rich people play everyone else like a fiddle. Would have never thought this in my whole life. Uh, they said money was power, and I laughed, right? Like, haha, that's funny. Money is power. Fuck are you talking about? Oh, you can literally buy all of the power in the world is to be bought and paid for. Um, apparently. Want back? So, like I said, if you ever wondered where the fuck did the Republican Party all of a sudden become pro-Israel, the Heritage Foundation. And understand, one of the things we talked about recently that I want to keep hitting on, when I first started making content, a lot of psychics and mediums came around. They were a little batshit crazy, but we knew that, right? Love y'all. Um, one of the mediums that has made the most sense to me, that isn't completely Looney Tunes, said that there are two religious ideologies at play, and it's gonna fuck us all. And the one is that um, the Christians, their Messiah has already come. They think they're headed to the rapture, and it's we all die or they get to rule the world from Israel forever. And then the other ideology in play, so that's the Christian ideology. Your Messiah has already come. We're headed for the rapture. You look outside and it's hot as fuck, right? And you're just like, how did we get here? How did we get here? We keep electing Christians. Their Messiah has already come. They're headed for the rapture. Next question. What is the other ideology in play? The Jews, the Jewish ideology, that they have no Messiah and their Messiah will come of this. What is this, right? So, for the Jewish people who are in search of their Messiah, they are sure that of all of this, their Messiah will come. And the Christians, their Messiah has already come. So we're just headed for the rapture. And the Jewish people believe it's through the rapture they receive their Messiah. I do believe. I never got really that far into the like the Jewish faith, but I think that's how that works for them is their Messiah comes after the fucking rapture. Mm-hmm. Crush said a major drinking problem, aka keg's breath, aka no, we shouldn't keep going. Giving a press conference right now. Yeah, just a reminder. So this is where shit goes off the rails. MAGA is trying to get Donald Trump to deport Zoran Mamdani. Um, that isn't gonna work out for you, love. You're not taking him into custody. I don't think that will work. And then here's um, apparently Donald Trump incoherently ranting about hero pilots. I just want to make sure that we point out that I'm pretty sure that guy. Yeah, yeah. Oh, hell no. No. I'd argue. Zoran Mamdani has the distinct potential of he could very well be the best thing to happen to the Democratic Party. I'm a big fan of AOC, and she's smashed. She she won her elections. They are not close. She's a very heavily favored candidate in any race she's in. Um, I would just continue to tread water here. It's obviously it's a sticky situation when you got when you got supporters of this regime calling for the president to deport someone who just won political office effectively, won a primary, not the full-blown election, right? Um, but yeah, the closer we get to like the next set of elections, it's important to I think continue to vote for people that do not have MAGA support or AI PAC support. As a pretty like you don't fuck with people that take money from AI PAC or that are still calling themselves fucking Republican. And you know what I find hilarious? I got on this app and I started trying to look for other progressive this app, TikTok, other progressive white people to see who you can model your content after. And all I found, I'm not crying, my voice is just shitty. Um, what I found is like you'd follow someone for a while, you'd get this like, concept that they're progressive, and then they would proceed to tell you how they still voted for Donald Trump. And you're just like, oh, holy shit, I didn't see that shit coming. So you're like one of those people that talks out of both sides of your mouth, right? Where you'll make content, your little ditty, where you're talking about fuck Donald Trump, but then you went into the voting booth and just vomited, right? Um, and I want to point this out above all things. I still You cannot convince me that the results of the 2024 US election as they sit is that's reality. And I also want to point out how what Donald Trump did and what this regime did to get here has cost them dearly. When I look at the mood, right? The what subreddits are active and what is hitting on the internet. Um, I could tell you this: conservatism and republicanism are at an all-time low. And the worst part about conservatism and republicanism is that they are now firmly tied with fascist ideology, which makes it a fucking non-starter. There are going to be people like me the rest of my life that I will never cast a vote for an R, ever for a Republican, ever again. There is not a single reasonable conservative that has come out, spoke out against this regime, put forward bills that are good. Like, there's not a good Republican. There isn't one because there's no one to model your behavior after that's worth a shit, right? And then when you look at the Democrats, there are, for the record, several Democratic superstars. Um, and I'm not gonna cape for anyone because I don't know anyone. Okay, so one of the things that a lot of people do is they'll try to pigeonhole someone, and they'll be like, "Oh, what do you think about this person? Oh, I don't fuck with you because you fuck with them." And it's like, really? For example, like David Hogg. Apparently, David, and I didn't see it because I don't watch Bill Maher or whatever the fuck. I don't watch that shit. Apparently, he went on Bill Maher and was sexist. That's the word I heard back. So he had since got ousted from the Democratic Party. One in Daniel. And then you've got your Jasmine Crockett, your AOC, um, and now Zoran Mamdani. And one of the things that I want to point out is gone back and watched some of his public appearances and speeches and debates. And one of the things that he does very well is speak to the common man, speak a language that a high percentage of listeners can understand, and answers questions um, like very concise, which is what you come to appreciate. Frost from Florida. I'm listening. Okay. And I think, you know, as I've said, I don't have ambition to run for public office. Um, and the reason I say it like you should, no one should want to be in office. What should happen is, as a result of your work, someone should be spending money to support you and say this person needs to be in a position of leadership at the government level because they have this understanding, training, experience as you're to be nominated for office. And I'm not talking about myself. And I think that I personally have way too much shit to do to be like electable, right? One of the big problems that I have working against me is for some reason people don't vote for people that have beards. I know that's wild, right? But one of the things, one of my friends, Andy Duncan, here in Indianapolis, he's a beautiful musician and a beautiful person. Him and his wife both. They actually were our neighbors when we lived at 16th and Downey. They lived a couple streets over. We could just walk over to their house. Um, but Andy Duncan will end up running for and winning political office in Indiana, and he spent the better part of 25 years as a musician, spreading a pretty progressive platform. And he's already like involved in politics. And he told me that the first problem that you're going to run into is that you have a beard, and people don't vote for people with beards. So Zoran Mamdani, a progressive, a DSA member, a Democratic Socialist of America member, um, winning with a beard. Now it kind of kicks that can over, right? And eventually, and the thing about it is, it's another one of those barriers they put up to dissuade people from running for political office, is the acknowledgement that people don't vote for people with beards. Um, I don't know, like a lot of people are going to want to debate that, but go back and look at history at how many of your presidents had beards. It's exactly right. Um, it's seen as like rich people don't have beards. Hmm. Love it, love it, love it, Beck. That's great. So it looks like Jesus, now I can't say it. I was about to say Florida. Jesus, Florida has frost. What's stupid as fuck? I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh, you talking about the beards thing? Yeah. I don't. A buddy of mine that's already involved in politics. It was like, you know, Jared, you're brilliantly intelligent. You got great ideas, but like you won't win because you have a beard. And you're just like, what? And they're like, yeah, Florida, Florida. Holy shit, Zeke. Freud, Freuda. That fits, actually. Oh shit. So let's look around. I saw this, and it's one of the funnier things I've ever seen. I just gotta say it. A Jewish extremist A Jewish extremist crucified and murdered an Arizona Christian pastor in an elaborate plan to kill 14 Christian leaders in 10 different states in what he called Operation First Commandment. It's like, what the fuck? Yo! Between the guy that killed the in Minnesota that killed the lawmakers and shot the other ones. And then now you have this, and it's the old people are starting to go crazy. I'm telling you, heat makes people crazy, and you can have a heat injury, and it will make you go crazy. It turns out that it's not the actual heat death of the universe that's to be worried about. It's what happens when that racist old white man that's had all them thoughts rolling around in his brain, and that shit gets fried because it's hot outside. We need an end game level alliance for Zoran. Yeah. Yeah. And I hope more people uh realize the sort of platform he ran on, right? It's about understanding data and analytics, thinking about what are the most important topics to NYC crowd and running on it. And one of the things that I noticed that Zoran Mamdani does is answer questions concisely and correctly. That's I can see that. The Democrat candidate said Israel invaded back. I just want to point out, and again, see how easy this is to say, and you got to have politicians that are willing to do it. The Israel of today is not the Israel from the Bible, love. Israel from today was founded in 1948, so not even 100 years ago, by then the head of the Jewish agency. His name was David Ben Gurion. And the whole goal of the establishment of this new Israel is to continue the United States expansionist and imperialist ways. If that isn't the most fucking apt description of Israel, it's like the United States, except in the Middle East. They're expansionist and imperialist. And if you don't know what those words mean, go look them up. That's exactly what fucking Israel does. And there's a many a reason that this partnership between Israel and the United States has been fruitful, but here's where we are now. Here's where we are now. Whatever the IDF is willing to do to people, like the Palestinian people, like what they're doing in Gaza, with the genocide, right? They're committing is the IDF is committing a genocide in Gaza. Free Palestine. hmm I want to point out. Uh, thanks. Um, I want to point out somebody said you're gorgeous on Clapper. It's like clearly you have vision issues. Um, yeah, Israel was founded in 1948. Its whole purpose is to be the United States ally in the Middle East, uh, and ultimately to expand and to be imperialist, which means attacking your neighbors and trying to literally go to someone else's land and say, I'm taking this from you. This is mine now. And if you've watched some recent video, you've literally seen video of the Israeli people just walking onto people's land and into their homes and saying, I live here now, leave. And if I don't take it from you, the IDF will. Yeah, I don't even know. So yeah, it's very difficult for me to take anyone seriously that still supports Israel or thinks like the Israel from now is the Israel from the Bible. It's like it's not, and it's Googleable. And also, there's plenty of evidence of them committing a, a genocide in Gaza against mostly women and children. And I can't imagine there's a person that's actually okay with that, but I can imagine if you give them six figures, they're gonna say nothing about it. Um, but I think it says the most about you how you treat people that can do you no good, right? These young Palestinian women and children, they can't do me any good. They're ocean away and then some. But I can use my platform every day to say uh, the IDF is committing a genocide in Gaza. Free Palestine. Also, um, Russia illegally invaded Ukraine and Slava Ukraine. Just to make sure that my audience knows and people who watch this back know that it absolutely causes me no grief to support Palestine and Ukraine. I sleep like a fucking baby. And the thing I've noticed, all the people that voted for this shit are all the people that have ever been pro-Israel or all the people that have ever laughed or been happy at watching someone else suffer is real fucking quiet now. I've noticed all the people that voted for this shit are real fucking quiet right now. And yeah, there were veterans yesterday handcuffed and escorted out of government offices protesting a $17 billion cut to VA medical services. As I've said prior, the big, beautiful bill has provisions cutting social safety nets. That's Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP, which is food stamps, and a $17 billion cut to VA medical services. Stacy, are you saying I'm quiet? I'll put the mic closer to my head. Hate this timeline so much. It's hard to believe this is happening in our country. Yeah, and here's the thing. Um, Here's a little video from, yeah, yep. All my family members that voted for this shit that were really pro-Trump, really fucking quiet. All those people that said vote for uh Donald Trump because he'll end the wars in Ukraine and Palestine. Real fucking quiet. Real fucking quiet. And here's Donald Trump's thoughts on Mamdani, a 100% communist lunatic. He's a democratic socialist. Um, Communism is a political and economic ideology that aims for a stateless, classless society with collective ownership of the means of production. It's often associated with the belief that wealth should be shared equally, eliminating social classes and private property. And here's what I think. Are you ready for? We've never had this discussion about communism. Are you ready? It's stupid. I'll tell you. I'll just tell you straight up. Communism is dumb. It does not, in my eyes, when I read the definition of communism, stateless, classless, spread the wealth. It's just like that's never gonna fucking happen. There are communist countries in the world, Jared. How's it working out for the people in those countries? Ask the Chinese. How is communism working out for you? Is it stateless and classless, and they've eliminated private equity, and the wealth is shit? No, it's not. The rich are still incredibly rich, the poor are incredibly poor. It just seems like communism's a load of horse shit. As I've known my whole life, and one of the major problems with communism is that typically in order to like get there, it requires like a violent overthrow of the government because people aren't gonna fucking vote for communists. It's because communism is stupid. It doesn't like make sense. Think about what socialism is, right? Any egalitarian movement. The big problem is egalitarian's a big fucking word, right? It just means pro equality. So socialism is any pro equality movement. For example, universal healthcare is a socialist movement because everyone, read all people, would then uh, not have to pay for healthcare anymore. And we would return healthcare to its rightful place of treat the patient, not serve the healthcare company, right? I think that's a big ordeal. Obviously, um, when I think about components of socialism, for example, the socialist economic theory, we talk about it every now and then. Uh, hey, the socialist economic theory points out, hey, rent, interest, and taxes are derivatives of your labor. These are things that are taken off of the money you make from your labor. And a socialist works to limit those things. Oh my God, does that sounds like I could fucking do that. That doesn't sound hard. I don't want to tax people a bunch of money and put it in bullshit. I don't I don't want them paying unreal interest on shit, right? In the socialist economic theory, as it refers to interest and wanting to eliminate interest, feeds right into wanting everyone to have universal healthcare access. Or not healthcare, sorry, I was doing good. Universal education access. Because think about what is the trap of a student loan? It's not the loan itself. It's all that interest that you have to pay on your student loans. I worked at Sally Mae. I can tell you, I took those phone calls where you talked about people that were calling in paying $4,000 a month on their fucking student loans to pay them off. Most people couldn't afford a $400 bill. So there's like a lot in my eyes, and again, I'm biased. I'm biased in that most of my friends don't fucking look like me. Thank God. I'm not even religious. But like most of my friends are black, gay, Latino, trans, right? So when your friends don't fucking look like you start to think about what political ideology could I adopt that the first thing it fucking does, the second goddamn word in the definition is include all the people that don't look like me. And that's what socialism is. So when they point at someone, they say they're a socialist. You know what? In my brain, that's that when someone negatively has a negative thought about a socialist, calls someone a socialist, you're a racist. See, a socialist is an egalitarian. There's someone that's pro equality. You know, we're all in this shit together. I don't care what you look like, or I care very much about who you are and very little about your appearance. I'm first of all I'm married and I'm a straight white male and right and I only have eyes for my wife. So everyone outside of my wife, I don't really care what you look like. Doesn't bother me. Who are you? You decide. You tell me. And I'll believe it. Cool. I'm with you on this adventure, right? But what you have is you have people that they can't argue. You can't argue against socialism. When I tell you that there needs to be a political party in the United States that's inclusive, that says, hey, look at who attends protest en masse. I've said it before. It's why we got banned on TikTok. It's why we're not on TikTok right now, live, is because I said who shows up to protest and stand up for themselves. The LGBTQIA plus. They showed up when I went to the veterans protest on March 14th, the first one I attended. Who was there? Who made up a significant portion of the veterans that showed up to protest? The LGBTQIA plus. And then I have been to, I don't know, half dozen protests. And every time I go, I am on the outside looking in. I'm looking at who all's here, who's here. And again, take pride away from, and when I say take pride away, I mean like remove the fact that pride marched upon the No Kings protest. So disregard that fact. And then just look at that audience. Oh, it's people that don't fucking look like me. They don't believe the same thing as I believe, right? We have lots of things that they do. Red note, you can't speak bad about China. Yeah. So Stacy said Elon's been busy building ice robots. I didn't I tell you that? Didn't I tell you? I told you there's a video of a Tesla employee in Texas talking about working 12-hour days as an engineer building a plant uh, in Texas to build robots. And the goal is to take the AI that they're building over at XAI and drop it into those robots. And that's why everyone's afraid of him. Because he'll sick a robot on you, bro. Compiling a list of targets, Angie. Hmm. That's what Elon Musk is doing. But yeah, I want to point out when you call someone a communist, they don't exist. Communists don't exist. I just want to point it out. Like, think about what is a communist. This is somebody who advocates for a stateless, classless society and the elimination of private equity. And they say shit like we're gonna trickle down the wealth. We're gonna do what we've been unable to fucking do, right? We've talked about like trickle down economics my whole life, and it didn't fucking work. And that's what communism promises. At its acme, at its height, oh, you've achieved communism? Oh, now we're gonna spread the wealth? Get the fuck? Get the fuck out of here. That's why socialism makes sense to me because it's about equality, right? And then one of the things that I think a lot about is how to explain collective control and shit and seizing the means of production to largely stupid people. largely the problem is that people, first of all, suck at explaining shit, because if you understand it, you can explain something as you understand it. But if you're kind of dumb and but you understand something, you can be kind of shitty at explaining it to other people because you're kind of dumb, right? So, yeah, I ain't doing none of that shit. That would be like forcing people to get what the shit is it in your house? Alexa? I don't know about y'all, but not in a million fucking years. I don't even like the what's that bitch's name on my phone? What is her name? Siri? I don't even like her. I'm a Cortana guy. You know what I mean? I need Cortana. I need I need I need my AI to talk to me. Not I don't need an AI to listen. The fuck? You're not helping. Yeah, never in a million years. People fucking using their watch, using Siri on their watch and shit. Nope. Nope. Not doing it. Nope. But one of the things I don't say often enough, be more ready to record when you're out in public, and put up cameras. I think it's that time. Yeah, you said Zeke, I got fucked up when I was on active duty, right, in the Marine Corps infantry during a time of war, and I was a big Halo player. I used to have fucking nightmares where Cortana was trying to wake me up because I was on meds because I had had surgery and my arm was all fucked up and shit. And I used to have nightmares where Cortana was standing over me, like, "Wake up, Master Chief, wake up." It's badass, badass, right? Is that I was a O-351, which is demolition and rockets within the infantry, like Rocket Man. So, oh, Rocket Man. Yeah, I used to have. I don't know if you call it a dream or a nightmare. Kind of depends on how the story shakes out. You know what I mean? But by the way, if you haven't played Halo, oh my God, that's all I have to say about that. But I feel the same way. Here's the thing about being a nerd. I feel the same way about Halo as I do Mass Effect. Like if you played Halo and you liked Halo and you didn't play Mass Effect, oh shit, bro, you fucked up the whole thing. Fucked up the whole thing. Mass Effect is Final Fantasy in space with guns. That's why I figured it out. Figured it out, y'all. Mass Effect is just Final Fantasy with guns in space. You're welcome. Oh, by the way, I don't know that I've said this on a podcast or in any content I've ever made, but we're gonna talk about video games for a moment while I try to figure out where to go. There's just it doesn't seem like there's anything right now. I'm gonna refresh in a moment, but I want to get this thought out. So y'all know I play video games. It's a great form of escapism. I've basically been trying to escape my whole life. I play video games as long as I can remember. It's the oldest hobby I have. I'm talking like 4 years old. I'm talking like my parents had to peel the Game Boy out of my hands. My parents had to peel the fucking Nintendo controller out of my hands, the Super Nintendo controller, the N64 controller, and then ultimately they released a PlayStation and PlayStation 2, and it was fucking over with. And I was an Xbox kid too, so video games were just my hobby when I was growing up. So I have way more hours than are appropriate for a 41-year-old man playing fucking video games. Here's the things I don't do. I don't play while I'm working. I've always been very disciplined in that. I'm not like on my phone while I'm working. I'm not on video games while I'm working. I fucking work. Okay. But when I'm not working, I'm trying to appease my wife so that I can play video games. Do whatever she needs done to make her happy. Oh, you're happy? I'm gonna go play video games. If I find out that keep in mind my wife is a gamer too. So my wife plays The Sims. She's put an ungodly amount of money into the fucking Sims and she loves that shit. The worst thing ever already happened a couple weeks ago. All her characters got fucking deleted. She was beside her goddamn self. It took her like 4 days, but she found that save file that has all her characters in it. Otherwise, ugh, can you imagine the nightmare? I mean, she had thousands of hours in fucking um Sims. So, Final Fantasy 14, and well, let me back up a little bit. I've played all the Final Fantasies. I've beat all of them up to this point. Okay. Um, Final Fantasy 11 was my first MMO. So, massively multiplayer online. Um, it For the record, Final Fantasy 11 was great. The problem was that I lived in an apartment and I couldn't get fast enough internet for my girlfriend and I to play online together. So it had to be like one or the other, which fucking sucks. When you got like a SO that will play this game with you and you can't because the internet wasn't good enough yet for us both to do it in the house. So, uh, when I got on active duty, I got introduced to World of Warcraft. Okay. The school bus around icy cliffs. I know what you're talking about, Stacy. I know what you're talking about. I've got stuck on one of them lives too, where you're like, you can't tell if it's real at first. And so you just watch this dude drive along a cliff and you're just like, that ain't fucking real, right? Is he driving a simulator? And then you're like, oh, it's a video game, huh? This is really dangerous. Anyway, so I'm talking about video games because most I played Final Fantasy 11 a lot, and then I got introduced to World of Warcraft. Uh, it came out while I was on active duty. The only problem is I didn't have good enough internet in my barracks room, nor a good enough device to play World of Warcraft. So I had to go to the library to do that, and you had to pay to play, plus pay to play. That's very short-lived. Um, Beck says she played an uncontrollable amount of hours playing Dr. Mario. Yeah, I like Dr. Mario too. I was a big Tetris kid. Tetris is my shit. Video games, basically, if it exists, I probably played it. Like that's just how it is. I'm a gamer. I have on PlayStation 5 in my collection. There's 300 games. hmm So anyway, I played Final Fantasy 11. That was my first massive multiplayer online game. That means like you and I, chat, you and I can be in the same room in a game and play Final Fantasy together. That was Final Fantasy 11. And then World of Warcraft came out, and I'm putting the feeler out there. If there's people that want to play World of Warcraft, I never got to play through World of Warcraft's campaign and its end game and be a part of anything. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I would totally play World of Warcraft. If there's people that are like, I've never played it either, Jared. I would play video games with you. Hey, I would install and pay for and play World of Warcraft if there's other people that wanted to play it, especially if you never did. Okay? I'm all about, first of all, people having awesome gaming experiences and sharing the love of gaming with people. But that's on my bucket list. I want to get together with a group of people and play through the World of Warcraft campaign. Okay? Now, um, recently, I picked up Final Fantasy 14, which is the second MMO that Final Fantasy made. And I just hit level 20 which is I'm a baby. That's 5 minutes into the game. Okay, I just hit level 20 after playing for a few days, and I wanted to share this with you. Most of the time when you level up, it's kind of like a letdown. Not that much good shit going on. Uh, when you hit level 20 in Final Fantasy 14, it was dead ass a 90-minute celebration of me hitting level 20. It unlocked a ton of shit. You sent you to the next world, all kind of shit going on. And I just want to say that on a podcast that every video game I've ever played, like leveling up is whatever. In Final Fantasy 14, I hit level 20, and god damn it, I thought I won. I was like, holy shit, is it over? Like, what the fuck? Literally, I spent like 90 minutes going around getting congratulated. Hey, good job. I'm like, okay, thanks. So I just want to throw that out there. That if you want to game at, you want to hang out outside of the show, there's people that have asked, where can we catch you outside of the show? Uh, Escapism. You should look it up. Is it's so easy for me to disconnect from a stressful situation. Now that I'm back playing Final Fantasy 14 and go listen to that great soundtrack and just run around and do goofy shit, I don't give a shit. I'm just chilling. And I want to recommend that to you. So I want to introduce gaming as a form of escapism to my audience because I know like the world sucks, right? But what can we show the world? That we're a community of people that are willing to do so much, right? Like we all sit here every day and talk about what's going on in the world. We know that we largely cannot do anything about it, and that we're just going through this together, right? Um, but yeah, I want to make sure I stick that out there. I hit level 20 in Final Fantasy 14. I thought the fucking game was over. Angie said even the reporters asked Root if he thinks he looked weak praising the crook. At least they asked some good questions. Yeah. Every speech was dogging him and shit. Yeah. Good. 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 Because remember, so far, I know it sucks. It sucks because it's true. Donald Trump hasn't done enough wrong to get arrested. Isn't that crazy? Um, the shit with Gaza, he'll get tried for when he's out of office. Don't worry about it. When he's a private citizen, don't worry about it. Okay? But as the president now, he hasn't done shit. I know it fucking sucks to hear it. I know it sucks. But you can't get arrested for a memo. So all those presidential orders when he's like fuck trans people and fuck kids, and I mean he literally writes laws that is like fuck trans people, fuck kids, fuck, you know what I mean? Fuck Harvard, I'm taking away your funding. Um but yeah, I think there's a level of fear that these people have, that they're afraid of him. I just want to make sure I point out that the header of Protest Finder USA is going to get someone deported. I'm just kidding. But every day we get on here and we say, hey, look, there's people that contact me every day and say, okay, I've had enough. I'm in. What do we do? And I've said, well, the first thing you do is you understand that the knock on Americans is that we will not protest every day. And the big knock on Americans is that they're lazy. Okay? That kind of argument is out the window for me because of the May Day movement USA that protests every day. There's an organized protest in Washington D.C. So you might not be protesting every day, but somebody is. in Washington, D.C. specifically. Okay. And then, in addition to the May Day movement, say you don't live to or can't get to Washington, D.C., check out 5050.1, indivisible.org. He said the New York case is still open. You talk about Rockland, New York, and you talk about BB can get arrested. Yeah, but is BB at the fucking G7? I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure. Everybody sees Mitch McConnell say they'll get over it to all the people that are going to lose Medicaid. Make sure that you download the Five Calls app, contact your representatives and tell them to impeach Donald Trump, contact your senators, tell them to vote no on the big, beautiful bill and to continue to fight that. Yeah, but the thing about Bibi, from what I understand, is he largely doesn't leave Tel Aviv, right? And so that means he's got his private police force guarding himself. Like people keep saying, like, why doesn't anybody arrest Bibi? And it's like, where the fuck does he go? He sits in fucking Tel Aviv. He has private police. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? He hardly ever leaves the house. He goes to fucking the United States. He went to a fucking funeral, right? But you don't hear about him. Oh, yeah, he's Donald Trump has 34 felonies. Yep. No doubt in that. Here is Mr. Impotent, aka Stephen Miller, whose wife left him for Elon Musk, literally. But yeah, JD Vance apparently hates this picture of himself, and I just want to make sure that you have it and so that you can maybe like remember. Yep. Laura Loomer and all them going right back to their ways. Rick is fire, yeah. I need that on a t-shirt. I'm just trying to figure out what to put on it. I'm thinking Couch King or the King of the Couch. We talked about, no, we didn't talk about this yesterday. Did you see Donald Trump suing every federal judge in a whole state? That'd be such a funny show, yeah. Mm, 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 mm. Oh, I saw that. By the way, did y'all see Pete Hegseth and Marco Rubio trying to smear the people that leaked info on Donald Trump? I see. And she's like, oh my God. Oh man. Hey. By the way, happy Pride Month, everybody. If you're gay, be proud. You did something most people have no confidence in being able to do. U.S. tent rental. Couch King. Yeah. Uh Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth admitted that the leaked information about that bombing run in Iran that Donald Trump ordered, they admitted in that interview that it was real. They really did get all their nuclear arsenal out of the way though. Was there a pic of Jade Amos that yeah. It's like I'll find it again. Probably something's wrong. No. Suppress news? No. Is it our politics? Yeah, it's on this page right here. Couch fuckers. That would be a great shirt. If somebody wants to make that for me, I just like a regular t-shirt, that JD Vance image and couch fuckers across the top. I need something vulgar. Hey, you know what? My whole life, growing up as a fan of like movies and TV shows, you know who wears a mask? The bad guys. The criminals wear masks. And now you have law enforcement officers, ICE agents running around with masks on. I just want to point out the fucking bad guy wears masks, not me and you, right? But the police aren't, they shouldn't need to wear masks. If what you're doing isn't wrong, why do you need to hide your identity? Hmm. On the Breakfast Club, Joy Reid said her coverage of Gaza and Trump is what got her fired. Let's go. Let's go. Progressives call for primary challenges to Democratic establishment. Let's go. Let's go. All of them. Get them out. Get them out of politics. Turn them into the pariahs they are. Every elected official that took money from Russia, that takes money from AI PAC, that's part of the Blue Dog Caucus. Vote them the fuck out. Every one of them. See, if you click on the links, we already talked about that. About uh the alligator, whatever, the Gator Center in Florida, or whatever. Yeah, I posted a link to that. Moving on. I want to re-point out that when they call you a communist, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Because I've never heard someone try to logically say, hey, I'm advocating for a classless, stateless society and the elimination of private equity, right? Nobody fucking says that shit. So first of all, when they call people fucking communists, what the fuck are you talking about? Okay. Second, I'm not a communist. I think that shit's stupid. I'm a socialist. And that just means I'm egalitarian, which means I'm pro equality. And I think that everyone deserves universal health care, education, income, and housing. And I think that we can get there by federally legalizing cannabis, and turning it into our cash crop and putting it in the rotation with all the other crops that we use to increase the fertility of the soil. And the reason that we have that problem is because we only plant like a couple types of crops on our soil right now, right? But if, right, hmm we can make enough money to fund socialism. If we stop electing people that take money from foreign governments, stop electing people that stay silent in the face of grave injustice, stop electing people that vote against the interest of their constituents and all Americans, essentially, at some level, right? Now, there's no perfect politician, but there's better than we've gotten. hmm There's people that don't need the money that can run for public office, be a great political leader, get in there, do great, set the example, and go home. And hey, I did my fucking job. I came in, I spat my shit. You know what I mean? I put forward bills. I made change in my community. You know what I mean? I didn't piss. You know what I mean? That's the reality is that your political career, as short as 4 years. But what you can do in everything that you do is make sure you know what words mean, right? When you see someone call someone a fucking communist, they're an idiot. Not the person being called communist. The person calling someone a communist is a fucking moron. Why? Because we're all adults here. I've never heard somebody advocate for communism. I've heard people call other people communist, and I've even heard people call themselves communist. But you know what I've never heard of? I've never heard a person advocate for communism. Let me tell you why it's stupid. At its acme, at the height of communism, is the promise to spread the wealth. You remember trickle down economics? Yeah, that's the acme of fucking communism. That's its success is oh we're gonna spread the wealth now? Yeah, get the fuck out of here. That is bullshit. I'm off it. So when somebody says communist, it's like, no, I'm actually not. I'm actually not. I'm a syndicalist socialist, which means I'm pro equality and I think unions are the way. I think that union enrollment has been down for like 70 years. I think if you can turn that around and put people that hear what I'm saying in in political office as a result of their service to other people as a union member, as a union leader, right? And to that point, I've told you, hey, you got to join a union. Got to join a union. There the greatest your greatest ability to be around people that are like-minded is to join a union. I know it sounds crazy. Mm, 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 mm. Here's the nation talking about Zoran Mamdani defeated a corrupt, weak establishment party candidate. Woot woot. Zeke signed up for work in America. Now there are two of us. And it's a party. Donald Trump keeps siding with Israeli intelligence over his own. The years going. Yeah, I was kind of, that's what I was just looking at while we were sitting here, as I was looking at, are there like events locally? There's jobs. See, that's my brain. See, this is my problem. I gotta get my brain out of. I I gotta stop looking at jobs. I have a fucking job. Holy shit. Um, I because my resume it needs scraped off the fucking internet. I'll be in the middle of a fucking phone call and get a call from a recruiter. Like, what the fuck? Why y'all bothering me? Y'all didn't want me. But yeah, I think I started January 20th at this new job, so I've been there 5 months. So your boy's absolutely fucking murdering, crushing, hitting it out of the park every day too. It's gotten to the point where I can't hardly look at the chat because people just bitch all the time, and I'm out here like I got two before lunch. Oh, y'all are having a bad. I don't want to read that shit. Fuck you. I'm doing good. It's all attitude. Attitude is everything. If you're one of those people that you can only be happy when it's sunshine outside, I fucking hate those kind of people. I'm a everyday dude. I show up every day. What the fuck you mean am I not in a good mood? I slept good. I eat good. You know what I mean? I didn't vote for this fucking mess. Oh, you voted for this shit and it start to wear on you. Oh, I get it now. The other adults that I'm around are starting to fall apart because they either voted for this shit or they've been politically apathetic their whole lives. hmm That's what's happening with the adults in the room. You want to know why people don't talk anymore? You know why? It's because the people that are smart, they made their decisions. They fuck with other people that make good decisions. And the people that make poor decisions end up fucking alone. hmm Just a bad decision maker. Yep. But when you're a bad decision maker and you are in an environment where job's easy when you're good, job's not easy when you're good, you know, you got to control what you can control. That's all. How you going to win in an environment where you have no control, right? How you going to win in an environment where you got no control? Attitude. It's all attitude is everything. You just come in like every day, like, what's up? How y'all doing? Oh, you doing good? Good. I'm doing good. Cool. I'm ready to go. Right? Win or lose. First of all, you don't make an excuse when you don't win. Right? You just take it. I lost. And Keep it moving. Like I told someone yesterday on a phone call, oh, you need to talk this over with your spouse. Oh, he's running around the house on a phone. Okay, time is it? Hey, listen, I help so many people that go ahead and have that conversation with your spouse. I'll reach out to you tomorrow. Here's my phone number. If y'all decide you want to do this, give me a call back. I don't have time for this. Like, I could just go tell help someone else. Hmm. I can promise you, every other person I work with can't do that. Can't afford to miss. Nope. Yep. Now you got to get to this spot. You got to get to this spot. You can't just start there. But yeah, attitude's everything. One of the things I try to tell people is because they bring like a shit attitude to work. Like it may be the zillionth time you've read that, but it's that person's first time hearing it. So if you have like a shitty attitude that you brought to work because of what's going on outside of work, and then the call's not going how you want it to go, how do you think you sound? Would you buy from you? My daughter tried to get my granddaughter on birth control pills, and the doctor told her no, meanly, and said, "Don't even ask me this until she's 15." Trying to pass. Stacy, I would go see a different doctor. If your daughter feels like your granddaughter needs to be on birth control before 15, I know why, and I'm not a doctor. Yeah, all I could say was, well, you voted for it. Oh, is she voted for that shit? That's whack. Whack. Mm-mm, mm-mm. Yes, baby. We can demand what we deserve. Remember, Zoran Mamdani. And by the way, I want to point out that since election day, the Democratic Party has been on a fucking tear. I think they've lost one election since election day. Point that shit out. They're saying Zoran Mamdani's win is a political revolution in itself. Agree. If Bernie Sanders says if AI is so productive, why don't we have a 4-day work week? Facts. I don't want to fucking work. Here's Pete Hegseth talking about being mad at leakers, but he is leaking shit visa. Later on, I will feast on centrist and Republican tears through articles and videos on Substack from my lefties. On Zoran. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Imagine me with a political science degree announcing my candidacy for public office as a member of the American Socialist Party. I'm the founder. I didn't want to get into politics. I didn't even want people to know who I was. I was happy to have a quiet life. But you elected a fascist. And they threaten to take away VA benefits. That directly affects me. Hmm. They threaten to make laws making it harder for people to get student loans and then nearly impossible to pay them back. That directly affects me. And the reality is when you terrorize the people to my left and my right, the people that don't look like me specifically, those are the people that I care about. I've long since realized like other white people don't give a fuck. Except if they voted for this and it's starting to affect them, I've noticed they've got real politically quiet. Used to be real loud about that support for Donnie J. And now you can't muster them words. You don't got it anymore. It took the wind out of you. Mm, mm. Motherfuckers that voted for this shit are gonna die fast. You know what I'm saying? Like they voted for it and now they feel the weight of their decisions and they just collapse. They're worthless. Hmm. Yeah, I agree with you about having mass security. That's one of the things I know why I can't run for public office is because I can't afford armed security, and that's one of the things you have to have. That's one of the hey, just so y'all know, my personal safety is one of the main reasons that I've moved really slow on getting a bank account and shit like that. Not to mention there's like taxes on all the money I'm making, so that slows you down when you got to pay 3 grand in taxes for a commission check. Okay. But part of the reason I've been going so slow is I'm like, as soon as I put in the FEC application and have the bank account and the ITN, I become a fucking target. I don't even own a gun. Like, that'd be fucking stupid to not at least try to protect yourself and not be and be cognizant that for whatever reason, people are gonna want to end my life for whatever reason. Yeah, I think it's all gonna crumble. People were zip tied in wheelchairs and escorted out of Capitol Hill office building during Medicaid cut protest. Keep in mind, Donald Trump is not receiving classified daily briefings. He says the beard. Yeah. Can you imagine somebody saying like, "Look at what's going on in the world. Look at the way corporations and politicians capitulate to the rich. I want universal health care, education, income, and housing. I want the rich to pay their fair share in taxes. I want term limits on Supreme Court justices. I want to expand the Supreme Court and make it permanently progressive, and make the Supreme Court adopt a binding resolution and a set of standards for the Supreme Court that can result in your expulsion, regardless of a lifetime appointment. But I want term limits on that too. Hmm. And I think like if you're able to express your thoughts, just like what Zoran Mamdani did. Like I said, one of the strengths that he has is that he answered questions succinctly and sounded like a human instead of sounding like somebody who just chat GTP'd this shit. An enforceable code of ethics within the Supreme Court that can result in your expulsion. Because in nearly every other instance, those people on the Supreme Court accepting bribes and shit, they would be ousted if there was an enforceable code of ethics, if there was a Department of Justice that would hold them accountable, right? And that's what we need. We need a culture of accountability, man. I'm accountable. I'm a horrible person. There. I've done lots of horrible shit in my life. There. Wow, do you see how it changed absolutely nothing to just be like, I'm a piece of shit, moving along? But instead, you have people that like, what happens is they're so proud, they can't admit when they're wrong. So they're certainly not going to say, I'm wrong, I've been wrong before, I'll be wrong again. They're just like, okay, I can't ever admit I'm wrong. So this means I have to hold thoughts that exclude people that are open minded, because people that are open minded will argue and then I will not be able to handle it. You know, I want to point out like one of my Marine friends and I were having a conversation. This is within the last 90 days, so it's relevant. Okay, so it's the end of a show. So we are having a conversation. And I tell them as a result of the conversation, you're a you're a bigot. You're a sexist. You're a misogynist. And they replied, because they cannot admit they're wrong, I'm not I'm not a misogynist. I'm a chauvinist. And I'm just like, what? Chauvinist is somebody who like disagrees with someone politically, patriotically. You're you're a misogynist. You think women are lower than you. That person heard me say that on my podcast and told me they didn't ever want to talk to me again. Even though we're in a Marine Corps. We're Marine brothers. Because their fragile fucking ego could not handle someone correcting them who they see as lesser than them, right? And that's that whole like combat veteran, not a combat veteran vibe, where because I was in combat for this country, I'm superior to you, and your opinion means shit. And it's just like, no, you're fucking wrong, and you can't admit you're wrong, so you'd throw away our relationship. It's tough. It's tough. And that's regardless of political spectrum. It's the ego, the human ego that'll get us all. It's our inability to realize that we're wrong and we're stupid and we have a lot to learn, right? There's a reason why I haven't done what Kat Abizeta has done, and that's stick my neck out and run for political office, because I don't have a fucking political science degree. I don't have the necessary training. I don't understand the levers. At least I'm willing to admit it, right? I don't know how all that shit works. Why would I run for public office when I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, right? I have ideas. That's great, right? I have ideas. That's great. That's not that's not being a politician. You got to have policy. Let's throw a little eat the rich and get the fuck out of here. What do you say? Good to go. Have a good day. Stay cool. Still hotter than a motherfucker out there. Tomorrow, my wife and I are off. We have to take several animals to the veterinarian. Nothing's wrong with any of them. It's just time. But yeah, appreciate y'all for being here. I'm sorry that we got banned on TikTok, and it still have not heard back after our appeal. Sorry, they're texting us about our appointment tomorrow. Oh goodness, Danielle says she said her AC went out last week. I'm finally get it fixed today. I had to get mine fixed. Hey, this is a reminder that it might not be your air conditioning unit itself. It might be that it's dirty. And sure, there might be like a part that needs fixed, but I just had a 20-year technician out to my house, and he works year round, and he said, "Hey, when it comes to an outside air conditioning unit, the primary reason that it fails is because it isn't getting cleaned. A, the parts are designed to break in order of what is cheapest to repair. So when your unit's fucking dirty, the first thing that breaks is your condenser. Hey, that's a $300 bill with a discount. I had to pay like $500 because I had to buy the service plan to get my shit serviced so I don't have to deal. I can't be working at my computer and have my fucking air conditioning go out. I can't do that. Oh my God. Danielle said it was refrigerant, but her AC is so old they don't even carry that refrigerant anymore. If I had the money, I would just mail you an air conditioner. All right. Everybody have a good rest of your day. Try to stay safe out there. Danielle, your local library, air conditioned. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.